Previously on Cyberpunk.
You are in a night spot, it's almost midnight, called the Smithy. It's owned by a woman called Chukova. Three of you are all seated around a table waiting for Jimmy's gig.
Stop what you're watching, everybody, and take a look at this instead.
If you had to describe them, you would say, that's a cowboy.
I mean, that's not good, is it? I've rolled a 1.
I've rolled a 1.
This woman is staring at you, but Jimmy's having a good time, so maybe, just maybe, you think your luck might be changing.
Yeah, it's about time.
In the other room, Pheonix, you know it isn't.
Mate, I can't fix dead.
This is going to be a very expensive night for you. Hello and welcome back to Night City in 2020. This is another Cyberpunk 2020 game with PlayStation Access. My name is Chris Thurston, and when we last left our Cyberpunks, they were in a club called the Smithy, where rocker boy Jimi Mutiny was playing the gig of his life. A gig that gained new life, indeed, as he used his cable, I guess,
rocket-propelled,
powered grapple fist to drag down a wall of televisions that were showing many interviews with his hated rival Johnny Silverhand. As this happened, however, in a back room, a power surge fried the mind of a netrunner working for a woman, a very well-dressed, smart, articulate, and a little bit threatening woman called Redwyne, who former corporate exec turned dirtbag Axel Burke is currently in conversation with her backstage, trying to tend to the untendable wounds of this fried netrunner are medic Pheonix and hired corporate heavy MJ Kefahuchi, dance machine. Both of those things literally true. So we basically returned exactly at the moment we left. You, Axel,
Yes.
are with Redwyne. You two that are kind of backstage at the show see her bouncer, her heavy, her enforcer, her muscle, walk out of the room, and he says, 88 is dead, boss.
As he just walked past me.
Yep, he didn't care about you.
She says, yeah, he did just walk past you. He did.
What the hell?
What the hell
What did you
indeed?
expect him to do?
I mean,
Not compliment you on your dancing.
yeah.
By the way, sweet dancing, but I've got to go.
Oh, wait, okay, hang on a sec.
We've done it now.
What is your dancing ability?
5.
Okay, yeah, he
5.
doesn't. He doesn't regard you at all.
That
The
burn.
dice aren't kind, Rob.
I did just give a little fame check based on your dancing, and he didn't care.
But my
So-
reflex is at 8, so really it's 13.
So, well, do you have any skills? Actually, well, I guess he's heard of how flexible you are. We're not going to get into this now, Rob. He walked past you. MJ is.
I followed him in there to see what he was doing. I wouldn't let him just walk past me.
But okay, so no, if you want to stop him, that's what I'm here to referee.
Stop him.
I mean, no, he's gone now. I'll keep an eye on him.
Well, I'm glad we had this
I'll
little
keep an
side.
eye on him. I mean,
Plenty more giant fish in the sea. Thanks, MJ.
I walked out there to follow him to check what he was doing, so I've
You've seen what he was doing.
I've
seen what
kept
he's
my
doing.
eye on him, and
Pick your battles. See what happens.
I'll just
Shouts Jimmy. This is my new song, Pick Your Battles. Doesn't go down quite as well with the punks in the crowd.
Not as well as Arasaka caught. Made my face. Or bought my face. I can't remember what they did to my face.
Okay. Redwyne turns to this man and says, "Get switchback." He goes off, walks down this little stair, and straight for that naked, becabled gentleman who's by this point at the bar.
Completely hairless as well.
Yeah, completely hairless, like a swimmer. like an
Oh,
Olympic.
it's a roll-on deodorant.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's a good vibe. Actually. Yeah,
It's
imagine.
really slick.
Yeah.
And he smells great.
Imagine that you have. Imagine like a roll-on deodorant that
still there.
plugs into the mains.
That's the future, my friends.
Yes, that is the dark future of 2020. He's at the bar. Jakova has given him a glass of water, and he's sort of just drinking it. And like he's very like just doing what he's doing when he was walking down. He was just walking down. He's just one thing at a time kind of guy. Keep going on, Jimmy. But maybe it's beginning to wind down a little bit. Getting through the set list.
Yeah.
Been playing for like. 20
I've only got
minutes.
6 songs.
You're getting through them.
I'm not opposed to repeating.
And I'm going to say that you can see that something's gone on because all of your crew are gone or disappeared off into the VIP area. You may have seen this naked dude walk out, but you've also been enjoying yourself. You know, like it's not. You'd probably be relishing your first good gig in a while.
Yeah. The people are getting the message at last.
Indeed. Message being that your corporate sponsors are excellent.
Well, yes, they are. I mean, yeah, the tech works. So you see what happened to the TVs.
Yeah, indeed. That cowboy is still in front of the crowd, having a great time, but he's starting to get a little tired. He's like, yeah, but he's very appreciative. Very, very appreciative. The heavy walks up to this naked dude at the bar and says, boss wants to talk to you, and just steers him back across the dance floor, up into the booth, still trailing his cable, holding his glass of water. And Heavy sits him down in the chair in the part of the booth next to you. So you're just sort of like...
Is he still dripping? Is he still?
He's very sweaty.
I'm just going to move over just a little bit.
Yeah. And Divine looks at him and says, what happened? He says, 88's dead. I jacked out. And to which she replies, no, what happened? Did you get it? He says, nah. Sorry. And she just looks down at her flute of champagne, wine, whatever it was she was drinking. Whatever I said she was drinking previously. Champagne. And she turns to you and says, you know I said that you and I might have a problem? We have a very expensive problem.
So this is interesting because I was hoping that we could go into I was looking at what was happening and I was hoping that we could come to some kind of like if we can help you. I want to be in business with you.
Give me a fast talking check. Do that fast talking.
I wish I put more points on fast talking. I've got a 6 there. I think it brings me up to an 18.
Fortunately, you're competing with a 21.
That's not good.
She says, I don't think you quite understand. This is not a business proposition because your boy just destroyed... And she turns to the Heavy and says, Starly, how much did we spend on 88's Kia? And he says, 18, 20k. She goes, let's call it $25,000 in equipment that is not easy to recoup. More to the point, you've disrupted a project I was working on, and the people who were counting on me to be successful, they may extract an even stricter levy as a price of failure, and I want to stress, not my failure. Not my failure. Your failure. And so, going into business, I'm not sure. I think I might own you now.
It's at this point that
Jimmy kicks into his latest song. Nobody owns you.
you were looking for titles. I'm glad you found some inspiration. That's great.
Very good. What would you like to do?
I would like to activate my phone splice, and I'm desperately trying to look Divine in the eye, make it seem like I'm not freaking out, but I also would like to call my hired assassin, MJ.
Okay. All right. Give me a. Let's just call it a. I'm trying to think of how you do that stealthily. Let's just call it a cyber tech check to set your ability to manipulate your own tech without being obvious that you're doing it.
Yeah.
So,
What my plan is to kind of maybe not even say anything, but just let the conversation play out.
Yeah,
The threats, just giving him a line into the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So roll them bones.
Please be a really good number. Or 6. And my tech, I don't have any cyber tech, but my tech is a 5, so that's an 11.
11. Yeah, okay, on a 10, that's fine. So you are, you sort of discreetly, like, as if stressed, kind of, like, oh, that's awful. Click. Like, maybe there's some sort of, I don't know if you have a sort of a neural link or something that lets you enter the number with your mind. But the cell phone.
I'm on fast style, it's just that
the cell phone built into your cranium, basically.
it was worth the money.
You hear it kind of ring softly, but you don't hear it doesn't ring so much as sort of vibrate against your ear, the bones in your ear, basically.
MJ starts making the Metal Gear theme.
Exactly. In the other room, MJ, your cell phone begins to ring. It's this chunky, black kind of wedge.
Yeah. Latest tech.
It is the latest tech. Only works in the city.
What is it, Burke?
You don't hear anything, but you hear, obviously, the sounds of the bar, but from a different angle. You can hear the gig louder, and you can hear the table that he's at. And she says, this is maybe as she says, I think I own you now. And there isn't any immediate gain in for me from killing you. I don't know how much you're worth, really, how much your organs are worth. It's probably not going to add up. So I think I'm going to need you to make this right. And I think you're going to need to make it right pretty quickly. So you've heard this as well through your phone. And you're with Pheonix, so you can relay this if you choose. Only if you choose. You could keep it from her.
I think at that point, Axel would say, looking at Divine, but definitely talking into his phone, quickly, and then I would hang up discreetly.
Okay. She says, well, yes.
But hopefully, the message has got through.
What are you two doing?
Well, I'm gonna beckon Pheonix over. Because I'm guessing there's nothing we can do for 88 now. She's dead.
She's extremely dead.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell Pheonix everything that I've just heard over the phone. And then I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna make my way speedily over to the VIP
Up to your
table.
maximum run distance of 24 meters.
That's right.
So, MJ, you emerge from this back room into the VIP area and walk over to the booth where Axel is sat with this netrunner, Divine, and her muscle. You sort of stand next to him in a kind of like, I'm muscle too kind of way, but he's a little wider than you are.
Different kind of muscle, leaner.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy, you can now at this point see some sort of situation developing in the VIP area. Burke and MJ are there, Pheonix is somewhere, the naked man is there, and they're all talking to this woman, and you can see the tension. Maybe MJ has 2 settings, dance and kill, and you can see that the toggle has flipped. Divine says, I'm going to give you, let's say, 4 hours to find something for me. If you don't find it, I will go with the unprofitable option B. You don't want the unprofitable option B.
It doesn't sound like I want the unprofitable option B.
But if we can go with unprofitable or maybe even profitable option A, and you find what I'm looking for, then I won't kill you, but I'll let you work for me for a while we settle your debts. Does that sound reasonable? She's finished her glass.
What kind of thing are we talking about? That's what I want to ask her.
MJ, I'm going to ask you to do a perception check.
I've rolled an 8.
That's pretty good.
So 18.
Lovely. I'm going to be at 15. It's at this point that you kind of like, obviously you're on alert, dancing notwithstanding. Your awareness kind of shifts and you realize that there's like something moving, like not at your feet, but like you're stood like facing into this booth, the kind of railing towards the dance floor is kind of behind you, kind of to your side based on where you're standing. And you can see like just something like an odd shape moving at the corner of your vision. You see something in your periphery, and it's just like, when you see movement at a level you shouldn't see it. Like the part of your lizard brain that's capable of spotting spiders, whatever it is. You see that like a little movement, and you turn, and there's just a cowboy, like, and he's got his arms crossed. He's leaning up on the little thing, so it's like he's just enjoying this. He's just watching, like just taking it in. Looks up at you. He's like, "Hi."
What can I do for you, sir?
He says, "Ours is just also terrific." And you're looking into the eyes of a man who just looks robustly healthy in a way that, like, no one looks healthy in Night City, right? Like, he's not visibly augmented, no cyberware that you can make out. His hat on, dressed nicely, just in like a cotton shirt, trousers. He's not like, wearing a jacket with, pearls all over it or anything like that. He's just sort of, just off duty, maybe.
Did I notice this man being the only man who initially was enjoying Jimmy's music earlier on?
He was dancing next to your table, so let's say you'd seen him. Yeah. Obviously, it stands out in a crowd full of punks.
I mean, I would be asking him, why do you seem to have such a particular interest in my boy?
My boy is the...
Why am I everyone's boy?
My boy.
On the other side of the room, Jimmy launches into his final song of the night, and no one's boy!
I've got bigger fish to fry here.
Okay, he says...
Sheriff.
Oh!
He says, I didn't mean to be rude. This is my first night in town. And all of this, it's just... It's just so right. It's exactly what I want.
Are you a tourist?
I'm doing business in the city. I don't know if that makes me a tourist.
Do you want to come and speak to my boss, to Axel? Have you got something to offer us? Because we're in a sticky situation here. I don't need to be talking to people who think this is great. It's not great.
I heard some of it. The woman, she's having money troubles? That's terrible.
I assume the reason you've come over here is because you have something you can contribute to this situation, or are you just being irritating?
Oh, I'm just enjoying watching, but I'd love to see more.
More of what? My patience only has certain limits, I am not a businessman.
No, you're a dancer, and that's fantastic. He says, I've got money, got a lot of money.
Would you like to come up here and talk to the guys?
How much does that cost?
What do you mean, how much does it cost? Just walk up here, man. You've
What's
walked
free?
over here. Yeah, you don't have to pay anything to walk under the
he's
table.
like, oh, hell yeah, and he just scoots.
We are in a position where we need money. You're saying you've got money.
He's already going. He's up and around. Immediately, this heavy starlight sounds just like, who's this? And looks at you.
I don't know, some guy who says he's interested in this, whatever this is.
Is this how you do business? Anyone who's interested?
I mean, I do business with this. And with this. And I am getting sick and tired, actually, of all the hammering.
He says,
Jimmy's definitely noticed this now, by the way.
Yeah. You are pointing to every weapon on your body, some of which is your body.
Yeah, and also these.
He says, yeah, and we do business with this, and his coat kind of billows away to reveal like the biggest hand cannon you've ever seen.
Oh. Oh.
Pheonix, where are you?
I'm still out back.
Yeah.
Like that's all you could manage. Oh, oh yeah.
I mean, I've stuck my head around the door. I've seen these two having a gun off, and Axel's clearly in trouble. So I've decided that I'm probably best off in this room for now.
You keep your distance maybe, but like a crowd's starting to form.
Look, Axel, why don't you introduce your lady friend to my irritating sheriff friend over here and see if they can actually do anything that it benefits any of us.
I don't know who this guy is.
If it doesn't happen, I'm just saying.
Cowboy man, tell us about yourself. Why
He
are you in
says,
town?
"Oh, wow." He says, sits down. He says, "I am Wesley Ulbach V, and this is my first time in Night City. And what a city! We have nothing like this back home."
You look like you grew up on a farm.
Well, I sort of did. That's the fascinating thing about it. My parents ran a little farm. That little farm, now an agricorp. Got a lot of interest. Everything you've eaten. I bet you've eaten something that we made. I bet you have. I bet you have.
I like burgers. Do you make burgers?
Do you know where a burger comes from?
From cows.
Huh, this guy knows his stuff. Leans back, very pleased. He's like, "Yeah, we make cows." He says, "I love the music. Terrific."
Yeah, that's my boy.
So are you, are you guys, like, criminal? You doing crime?
I'm gonna look to Divine and say, Divine, are we criminals?
She rolls her eyes and says, "Search him." And Starly basically like picks him up. He's like, "Oh!" And she pats him. He pats him down. Like he can almost like throw this guy around. She's just like, he's not carrying anything. Like it's almost like a note of survival. Like it's not like he's clean. It's like, where the hell's the gun? He's like, she's like, "We're criminals. You're criminals now, if you weren't before. Otherwise, well, I guess at this point, all we're choosing is the nature of the crimes we're doing, isn't it?" At this point, Jimmy, maybe your gig is coming to an end.
Yeah, I think having seen NJ showing off his katana and pistol, that's
And my claws, don't forget
and
the
claws. Jimmy decides it's time to wrap it up.
Okay.
Quit while the going's good. Also, his biggest fan has also joined the crowd over there.
Yeah.
The cowboy. So he's going to wrap it up and head over.
Yeah. As you kind of wind down, unsling the guitar, make sure your hand's properly reattached. The crowd begins. It's like, "Yeah, Jimmy, etc." Jakova behind the bar puts the shotgun away. It's like, "Good job. It was all right." And she points to the VIP area and says, "No trouble." Walking to the VIP area. Divine says, "I suppose everyone is here now. Look, we'll call the bill $25,000. Euro dollars. Not American dollars, which is twice that amount."
Who are you? Do you own the TVs?
She says, "Your dad can explain."
Jimmy, I think she owns more than the TVs. Oh.
Get rid of the cowboy and we'll talk. But he says, "Oh no, I don't want to be a problem. In fact," he said, "25,000? I'll put up 10 straight away."
I like this guy. Everyone, I like this guy.
All I just want to tag along.
What is going on? What have you guys been up to whilst I've been playing the most mega show of my existence?
Jimmy, what your show has brought us is a new sponsor. interest from a big spender from out of town. You've done great tonight.
Okay, cool. So what's he tagging along with?
He just wants to experience life in the big city. And who would better to show him than you?
Well, that's true, man. I don't know if you can keep up with me, but he's welcome to try. 10,000 sounds good.
He says, great. And then he turns to Divine as if like he's the team now. He's part of the team. Wesley's part of the team. And he says, where are we going? And to which she replies, points to her netrunner. We, or some of us, were trying to extract some very valuable information from a safe house in the zone. Heart sinks when you hear this. You know when she says the zone, she means the combat zone. An area of the city given over to gangs and other lowlives, completely unpatrolled by police. Trauma team will go in there if you're lucky. Any other kind of emergency services cut off. People live in there, but it's not a particularly safe place to be. However, Wesley sees it, he picks up. It's like, oh boy.
Oh God.
I thought we could do this clean. Send a couple of runners, get the data we need out of the fortress. You'd play your show. We wouldn't become entangled with one another, but you chose to act, so here we are. At this point, I think we might need to take a physical approach. I think you might have, she looks at her watch, 3 hours and 45 minutes to get there, find and take what I need, and bring it back to me.
And at this point, I'm going to look around my group and try to get a feel of the... What do you guys think?
I'm furious. I'm actually furious. I just wanted to get paid and then leave you guys. And now I owe money someone.
I could take this big guy out, but I don't see how that's going to help.
Do you say that out loud?
With dancing.
I say it to Axel, but
whisper it.
to Axel. I mean, I could take this guy out. No problem. He's a big boy. This thing cuts big boys down to size.
This is easy. We can go into the zone. We've got MJ. We've got me. I've got Scylla. No one's going to mess with us. What's more, I just had the most killer gig of my life. People in the zone are going to recognise this face. We can mobilise people. We can start a fan club. We've already got Wesley. The president, if you'll be the president, Wesley, of course. I don't want to.
Of what? I'm
the
not the
fan
president.
club.
He says,
The mutineers, the president
The
of the
mutineers.
mutineers.
is that what people do around here?
It's what. Hey, don't be worried about what people do around here. Just be worried about what Jimi Mutiny's doing around here. And what I'm doing is making you the inaugural president of the Jimi Mutiny Mutineers fan club.
Clap. He loves it. He is
The
the
zone, man. People talk about the zone like it's some thing. Ain't no thing. Look at MJ. He's a walking weapon. No one would come after us in the zone. I've got Scylla. She burnt my own face off. She can burn everyone's face off.
I mean, MJ at this point would probably turn to Divine and, with a heavy sigh, having experienced the zone on a few occasions in his career, and ask, do you at least have a vehicle you can lend us to get us to the zone of some kind? Because I'd walk in there.
Make a persuasion check for me.
I know what's happening if you fail.
I'm going to tell you now, I've rolled a 2.
Yeah,
So 5.
that's not happened. She just looks at you like, you owe me enough already. I'm not lending
We
you.
don't need it. We don't need a car.
We don't need a car. We can all
Axel's
pile...
got the Burkemobile.
I've got the sedan. Yeah, we can pile into my sedan as if this evening wasn't embarrassing enough already.
She
What were you
says,
even after?
We're looking for data. And she passes you a printed readout, which has actually obviously been printed by a fax, which is what we use for this.
It's the year 2020.
It is the year 2020. She's received a fax. On that fax, is a detail of IDs for CD-ROM tapes, that are stored in physical storage racks.
It's in Carter. In Carter 2020. I know a place where there's all the knowledge in the world, and you're going to steal it from me.
And she says, and Wesley's very keen. He's like, "Ooh, look at this!" and taking it all in. And she says, the ones that are highlighted. She says, We need these tapes, but take as much as you can carry. You see one detail on that fax, however, or like that accompanies the IDs, which makes your heart sink just a little. A lot that's happened a lot today.
It's been a lot of thinking.
Which is that the source of this information, or at least the place you'd be taking it from, is an Arasaka site.
Oh. Going back home, boys.
Arasaka.
You're also given the location, which is deep in the zone, so to speak.
Yep. In the deep zone. Well, we should. Oh boy. Let's. I mean, the man's big, so we're getting in the car and we're going to the combat zone. That's what's happening. We've got a job to go.
You head out onto the street together. Wesley trailing along. It's raining. He thinks that's terrific as well. The street is littered with, at this point, there's garbage everywhere. The unconscious or worse sort of bodies of presumably people who were just at your gig, some of whom didn't really make it out very far beyond the door of the club before getting punched in the head by somebody, basically. It's just this time in Night City. The sedan is parked around the corner. For once, no one has stolen the hubcaps. It's dented in at the front, greasy, dusty.
I like to say it has character.
Yeah, it's got personality, that's for sure. It's not going to be a nice personality. The car just might be an a-hole.
I can't be seen in this flipping...
Jimmy, me and you both know we've been in much worse places than this. Now, if you want to help, get in the car.
I'm just saying, man, you said that you could take me places, and so far you've taken me everywhere in this rust bucket.
Where does everyone sit in the car? Pheonix, you've been sort of trudging along silently.
I'm furious. I just want my money, and now I'm having to go into the combat zone. Lucky me.
Lots of people injured in the combat zone.
Yeah. And even as trauma team, I wouldn't go in there unless you had platinum membership.
It's like a sweet shop for you, isn't it? You know, injured people everywhere.
Yeah, that's not quite how injuries work when you're a doctor. It's not a sweet shop.
Well, where do you sit in the car?
I guess I'm going to get in the middle, aren't I?
You can come up front as the only other grown-up in the car.
Then I'm in the front, shotgun, get out of the way. Literally push Jimmy out of the way as I go to the front.
Wesley asks, where am I sitting?
Oh, you're sitting in the middle, Wesley.
Oh, okay. And he sits. Initially, he's still wearing his hat, and then he takes it off and puts it in his lap. And you can see that he's, he looks like he's in his late 20s. He's sort of very good looking, actually, like healthy looking, which is a bit weird.
Oh God, he's on a gap year.
And he sits there. When he does take his head off, however, you do see that he has a few, does have a few interface plugs in the back of his skull. This is, I should stress, relatively normal. Like, these are like the kinds of things you see on people who own TVs and cars, right? Like the kind of thing you might use to just access a higher tier of entertainment from your home entertainment center.
Can I see these from the driver's seat?
I mean, let's say that, I mean, sure, like it's not, yeah.
I'd like to imagine adjusting my mirror at the back, and I just want to say to Wesley in the back that I thought that you were, I was beginning to think you were all organic back there, man, but I see these marks.
Oh no, not my first rodeo. Or my first cyberware. Ha! He's made a joke. Does anybody laugh?
No.
Okay. He goes, and then he sort of like pipes down a little bit and just sort of folds his hands across his hat.
It's lucky you've got so much money, Wesley, I tell you.
He says, "Oh, this is terrific. I am so thrilled that I met all of you. You're so interesting."
We're a riot.
We're off to the combat zone. I don't know what that means.
He says, "Oh, that's the best thing. I thought, you know what? I said to myself, I said, Wesley, no one is gonna let you go into the combat zone. You know, you're not gonna see it. It's just gonna be like, you know, in movies. Like, it's not really like that, but actually, it's happening. I can't wait."
Wesley, there's a very real chance that you'll be injured in the combat zone. I just want to make sure that's abundantly clear. And to be honest, mate, I don't think anyone's going to be too worried about you. Okay, we've got a job to do. We don't need a tourist. I just want to make sure you're on board with all this.
He says, look,
This isn't a theme park.
what is this worth? And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a thin card. And you would recognize it immediately as a Trauma Team Platinum membership card. This means that a heavily armed flying ambulance will find him. All he needs to do is bend it, and help will be on its way. He says, I've been paying for this since Mum and Dad stopped paying for it, and I haven't seen a dime out of it. I'm getting my money's worth. We're going.
As I was saying, welcome aboard. It's a pleasure to have you.
I'm starting to like this guy just a little bit.
Says, okay, let's go. So you're in North Side at the moment. It's a bit of a drive to get to the combat zone. You are driving, I presume.
Yep.
Whole family in the car.
Yep.
Rumbling along. As you leave, obviously it's late night, but still pretty heavy traffic in Night City. I'm gonna ask you to do a awareness test for me.
3, which is one less than it was on the floor. And 12, so 15.
Traffic thins out as you approach the increasingly dilapidated block after block, growing grimmer and grimmer as you draw closer to the combat zone. Eventually, ahead of you is a wall, sort of erected around parts of the combat zone. Checkpoint that is occasionally patrolled, but tonight you're in luck. There aren't any corporate cops on the checkpoint. You can probably just barrel on through. It's an abrupt divide. Even though the wall itself is not very high, you think about, like, on this side of the wall, streetlights are something people take for granted. On that side of the wall, it's a roll of the dice. You're looking at a patch of basically just dark street, dilapidated buildings containing who knows what, stretching off into the night.
Do we know where we're going?
You've been given directions by Divine. So, and it's a city block. You'll be identified.
We're just putting our foot down.
Okay.
And we're driving into the darkness. Guys, I think I've got a good feeling about tonight. I think it's all going to work out just fine.
As you say this, and as the car passes into, like, through that threshold, another one of those invisible boundaries that kind of carves up the night of Night City. Good song title there.
Nice.
Write that down.
You hear a sudden, like, rev of engines.
Jimmy, is that you?
In the back of the guitar now. Light fills up the back of the cab, and a motorcycle races up behind you. There's you can't really see who's on the back of it. It's a heavy-duty kind of custom job cycle. Races up next to the car, and this whoever's on top turns, holds up like a torch in like a reverse grip, a flashlight, they would say in the American city.
Cool grip.
Of night, yeah. She is kind of like silhouetted slightly, but you can see sort of heavy biker leathers, hair tied back under a bandana. Light goes through the car, stops on Wesley. Wesley goes, "Hi!" And then she reaches to her hip. And I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative.
How do we do that, Chris?
You're gonna roll a dice, and you are going to add your reflex, with the exception of MJ, who's also gonna add his combat sense.
What you got, Dave?
15.
Jimmy?
5 in total for me.
That's an 8 for Axel's.
19 for me.
19. So, do we have anyone beating 19?
No.
No.
MJ, you are at the top of initiative.
Biker Grove.
Oh, I need to roll for
Wesley.
Wesley.
Wesley takes a photograph.
Wesley will probably still beat me. Let's put it that way.
Wesley smiles.
W for Wesley. And we'll find out what happens on the next episode
Ooh, we've done it again.
of Cyberpunk
Chris.
2020 Nights with PlayStation Access.
Next time on Cyberpunk.
You're just a corporate dirtbag, Axel.
Oh, yeah.
The bikers watched all of this happen. Slam on the brakes, mate.
That's a 10
Boatmobile. Oh, a 10. I think.
and a 9.
Oh, my
Other
God.
I think she's hit the old
19.
girl.
Oh, please don't shoot myself.
Just roll the dice.
I'm trying.
That one, like not a dolphin.
Oh, hell yeah!
I have cyber eyes. Can I use them for anything?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's use your cyber eyes.
I'm really bad. I keep rolling 2.
This is the most amazing one.
No, who's he hit?
Subscribe to PlayStation Access and hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss a single episode.
For the players.